Hello and welcome to Froch on Fighting. I'm Carl Froch, coming to you here from Hispaniola, soaking up the vitamin D. Give myself a little beverage, one sec. Oh yeah, that's a goddamn tasty beverage. Anyway, there's been a few of you questioning where's the episode? It's slightly delayed, I know that, but we're here at Froch on Fighting, the fastest growing YouTube channel in the business. I'm dedicated to getting an episode out to you every single week. So here it is, enjoy. Right, Rach, what you got for me?
Well, everyone wants to know what's going on with Frank Warren. He keeps talking about you.
Frank Warren, again, Bricktop, what's going off? You keep talking about me. I don't know what your problem is, to be honest, because you're going back nearly 20 years. Right, I did watch his little video that was pre-scripted by Umar from IFL TV. Not very good journalism there. I'll be having a word with Coogan. Send in the guys your questions so we can get all prepped and sit there with his notes all ready for attacking the Cobra. He's boring. Anyway, he talked about 2006. I went down to see him. Maybe it was 2006. I could check my diaries. From when I turned pro in 2002 right up to 2013, 14 when I retired. I've got diaries. And all bits like that will be in there. Can't even be bothered to look in the diary. I can't. It's too boring. And I don't want to bore you with it for too long. Maybe he's right. Maybe I wasn't mandatory in 2006. But I was told by my team that I'll be mandatory any single day. So by 2007, I was mandatory. He's right with that one. And by 2008, I fought for the title against unbeaten Jean Pascal, Canadian Jean Pascal. Sorry, the bubbles from the beer coming back up to say hello. But anyway, right, well, I don't know what to say about this. So 2006, I wasn't mandatory. So what? Big deal. I think what to take from this is there's two things. One is accusing me of ducking Joe Calzaghe and saying I didn't want to fight him. I duck no man, nobody. Just don't duck people. I fight everybody, mandatories, younger, 10 years younger, people who are dangerous, Olympians, unbeaten fighters. I take zeros for fun. But to say that I didn't want to fight Joe Calzaghe is ridiculous. He offered me the information that Calzaghe is moving up to light heavyweight, to which I was gutted. Why did I go down to London to speak to Frank Warren? I had my advisor with me, by the way, who I can talk to and verify all this. He was on his own, so it's 2 against 1 if you want to go down that road, which we don't, because it's boring me now talking about it again. But anyway, in 2006, I wasn't mandatory. 7, I was mandatory. I then had to wait over a year, politics in boxing, whatever. Joe Calzaghe vacated. Probably Frank that was behind that, but he vacated on the final day. He waited until the last day to vacate the title. So I had to wait for the longest period possible. He was told, you've got to fight Froch. Froch is your mandatory. You've got to defend against Froch. He waited until the final hour to vacate. I then fought for the vacant title. But this is the interesting thing about all this. If I went down to London, which I did, to speak to Frank, which I did, and I was worried about fighting Joe Calzaghe, which I wasn't, that's a lie, then why didn't I sign with Frank Warren? To give me this contract, he talked about he's offered me 4 times my biggest career payday. Let's say my payday, back then, my biggest payday was the British title. It was about 25 grand back then, my British title was. It wasn't mega money in boxing back then, actually. 25 grand for a British title. So if he's offered me 4 times my career biggest payday, 100 grand, 25 times 4, easy maths, then why didn't I take it? Or was that 100 grand for a world title? Because that's not the best money. When I fought Jean Pascal, it was for a lot more than that. So I don't know what his point is saying. I offered him the biggest career payday up until now, 4 times his biggest purse, even though he wants to know what my biggest purse was, even though I've just told it at the time, British title, whatever. If that's the case, why didn't I sign with him? Frank, why didn't I sign with you? If you've offered me 4 times my career payday, you've told me Calzaghe's going up to light heavyweight, why didn't I sign with you? Because I got a bad feeling in there. I work on instinct. I've got an intuition. And I didn't sign with you. Didn't happen. The contract went straight into the David Brent filing cabinet.
How many times have I told you there's a special filing cabinet for things for head office?
Straight in the bin. Bosh, straight to the recycle centre. And yeah, I then got on with my career. So that's just a point I wanted to bring up. If it was that great and you was paying me that well, why didn't this change happen? But it's boring. I definitely did not swerve Joe Calzaghe. I don't swerve people. I fought Jean Pascal, unbeaten Canadian Jean Pascal, for the WBC world title that Joe Calzaghe vacated. Don't ever tell me or anybody else that I did not want to fight Joe Calzaghe, because you're making yourself look stupid. And when you do it, your face is all red. You're hyperventilating. You're going to give yourself a hernia. You're like a racing car in the red. You can fucking explode. Nobody wants to see you explode. So just calm down, chill out, have a drink of Corona, Enjoy the sun. Enjoy your life. You've got to be 70 years old now. You've had a great career. You've done well. But anyway, just stop talking about me, and I'll stop talking about it. I think this is the last time, actually. I've exhausted. I'm really bored of it. So yeah, that's the end of that one. Let's move on. Hopefully that's set the record straight and that's got it sorted. Oh, another thing I want to point out, that interview you did.
It's still going.
That interview you did. Yeah, I'm on one. That interview you did with Umar. Have a look at it on YouTube. Get a look at it and have a look at all the comments underneath. You know what I should have done? I should have pulled the comments up and read it. You know, if I'd have read the comments out, I'd have looked like a bully. The comments are so bad. Another thing I will say about Frank Warren, when you're giving fighters stick and saying, oh, you pulled out the fight, you didn't want to fight him. Boxing has got to be the toughest sport in the world. You know, when those fighters climb up them steps onto that ring canvas, where do you go? Where do you promoters go? You go down the stairs and sit on your comfy seat ringside and enjoy the night. We're the ones expelling blood, sweat and tears and putting our lives on the line. So you want to be careful and think about what you're saying, because it's out of order giving any professional fighter at any level any kind of negativity or stick or criticism, especially a Hall of Famer that's finished. And I beat the game. I broke the code. I got the cheat code. I busted the matrix. I left the game with my faculties intact, with my Hall of Fame ring, 4 world titles, and I'm just loving life. I think it was Joe Fraser that said, it's the only sport in the world where your brain gets shook, your money gets took, and you can end up in the Undertaker's book. And that is true. And it's worth thinking about when you're giving fighters stick. Stop doing it. What else you got for me? You had another, was it Errol Spence?
Spence Crawford.
Yeah, what a fight. 2 machines, 154 pounds. No, 147. Spence is on about stepping up to 154. I don't know if that's a little excuse. He didn't make any excuses. But what I want to say is, Terrence Crawford, what a fighter. That is just one hell of a fighter. And to beat Errol Spence in the manner in which he did, he counterpunched Errol Spence on his back foot for 4 rounds. Then he counterpunched him on his front foot. So he was attacking Spence, backing him up and counterpunching him. It's horrible when you're on your back foot and you're getting counterpunched because you're defending yourself and then you're getting hit with counters. Terrence Crawford is just an amazing fighter. Really, really good. Tough, gritty. He's full of confidence. He's quite a bad boy. And I love the way that he came in with Eminem. I'm a massive Eminem fan. I envy him for that. He come out to lose yourself. I think Eminem could have rapped a little bit more, but he introduced him and he walked him to the ring, and that was just brilliant from start to finish. He was respectful, he was clinical, he was classy, and yeah, he's probably the pound for pound number one. There's a couple of close seconds, but I don't want to mention any other names because Terrence Crawford just deserves all the accolade for that performance. It was absolutely brilliant. You don't need me to technically break it down or tell you what I think happened. I thought that Errol Spence would have had more of a chance, but Terrence Crawford was just phenomenal. He was absolutely brilliant. So fair play to him and good luck to him. And if Errol Spence can come back at 154, I'm sure if he comes back at 154, I'm sure he'll have a great career up there. If he was struggling at the weight a little bit and he was a bit weight drained, then he should do that, do the right thing, and maybe finish his career on a high up at 154 pounds. But well done to Terrence Crawford. Fantastic for boxing. Great performance.
So now we're going on to Jake Paul, Nate Diaz.
Oh, Jake Paul, Nate Diaz. Come on, Nate Diaz. You know what? You know what might happen? And I don't want to... Can you imagine? Imagine if Nate Diaz was getting outboxed by Jake Paul.
No.
Because he probably will. Because Nate Diaz is a MMA fighter. And Jake Paul, as much as people don't think I like him, I'm going to give him some credit. This is a guy that's training and living like a professional fighter. He's in the gym, he's sparring. So he's as close to a professional boxer as you can get without actually being, or will probably never be, a professional fighter because he just ain't got it. But he's more of a pro fighter than Nate Diaz. He's fought Tommy Fury, and I've got to give Jake Paul credit for fighting Tommy Fury. He went in there and he got beat. He went the distance. What was it? Was it 6 or 8 rounds? What these novice pros? I think it might have been 8 rounds, but he got an 8-round loss on his card against a real professional in Tommy Fury. So yeah, he's more of a professional than Nate Diaz. But imagine if Nate Diaz does him, it'd be so funny. I hope Nate Diaz does do it. I like Nate Diaz. Tough, strong, hard warrior, but he's an MMA fighter. He's brutal. He really is. And there's a danger here, I think, and I'd like to plant the seed, actually, if Nate sees this. There's a danger of him. If he's getting outboxed for 3-4 rounds, he might just lose the plot and take the legs of Jake Paul, bosh, kick him in the shin, take him to the ground, choke him out, get him tapping. Let go, mate. His mullet will be flapping around all over the place, won't it? It'll be disqualification, yeah. But Nate Diaz is a bit unhinged. See him walk? He walked off a bit of a face. They did like a round table.
Oh, really?
And he was like listening to Jake Paul just talk waffle. Someone walked in the background. He looked at his watch. He just got up and left. I was like, "Where's he going? Is he going to the toilet or something?" And he just got in his car and drove
I
off.
need to train.
He was gone.
Go
But
tease.
he's a little bit unpredictable, a little bit unhinged at times, and I think anything could happen in that boxing ring. I make Jake Paul the favourite. For what it's worth, it's a good laugh. It's got his fans. Fair play to them. They're doing what they're doing. Good luck to both guys. I hope no one gets hurt because it's not real professional boxing, but you are throwing punches, and it can be a very dangerous sport. But yeah, that's my Jake Paul, Nate Diaz prediction for whatever it's worth. So that's it for another episode of Froch on Fighting with me, Carl Froch. Please don't forget to hit subscribe. Hopefully you're enjoying this channel. What I've done is I've left the glasses on, and I've not mentioned to Rachel yet.
What?
There's a reflection in this lens.
Oh, shut up.
So I'll leave you with that one.
Stop, you made me move the camera now.
This is Froch on Fighting. See you next week.